Hey, this is David from Red Fang, and you're watching All Access. Yeah, my first guitar that I bought was a Telecaster thin line that I found in Raleigh, North Carolina, and there was two of them at two different music stores, and one of them just felt awesome. So I made the mistake of telling the guy, like, oh, they got the same guitar over at this other store. It's a little bit cheaper, but this one feels really good. And he's like, well, you know, you could go pay less for the one that doesn't feel so good, or you could buy this one. Anyway, I still got a really good deal. I paid like $5.75 for a 1972 thin line with a calzone case, like a nice flight case, which I didn't even know came with it when I bought it. But anyway, so that was my first guitar, a Tele thin line, and it's a Tele, but it's humbuckers. It's a Fender wide range humbuckers, so it's a Tele, but it's not. It's a Tele shape. It doesn't have the twang that a normal Tele does. So that's the first guitar I ever had, and I just fell in love with it. And that was my only guitar for years, for like 15, 20 years maybe even. And then I started buying some other guitars, but the thin line is still actually, even on this tour, I'm not using it as my main guitar right now, but I have an American-made thin line reissue I just love them. A quick tip for playing. I mean, there's a billion tips. I guess one thing that I do, if I find myself getting stuck, you know, doing the same patterns, kind of stuck in a rut of the same things, I'll try to pick out a song that I've never played before, like just something you like, and try to learn that. And I don't really use tab or anything, I just by ear, but I find that learning somebody else's songs will force me to do some things that I might not do on my own, you know, so it can help me break out of a rut that way. So that's something that I do. Another thing that I'll do, I haven't done this in a while, but what I used to do is if I broke a string on the guitar, of course, not during a live show, but if I'm just practicing whatever, I would just leave it off for a while and play around that missing string, and that'll also force you to use your hands in new ways, just do different things. So those are my tips, I guess. Besides guitar, well, it's probably my amp. I use a Sun Beta Lead. It's a solid state amp made in the early 80s by Sun. They're kind of hard to find now. And a lot of people will be like, oh, solid state amp, yeah, blah, blah. But I think it's great for a solid state. And on my board, I don't use any distortion or fuzz. It's all the gains just from the amp, and it's just perfect sound for me. They're really nice in the low ends, just beefy sounding, and they're also nice to travel with because they're small and there's no tubes to worry about breaking. So probably besides guitar, my amp would be my favorite piece of gear.
Good answer.
I guess way back is probably Black Sabbath initially. Like Iron Man, probably one of the first songs I learned how to play. And I just love Sabbath, so I guess it was Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi. He's awesome. And then, you know, Ozzy went to his solo stuff, and Randy Rhoads, of course, is amazing. And I'm not that kind of player. I'm not like a shredder kind of player or whatever, but I still think he's amazing guitar player. So, but yeah, really Black Sabbath is where I first heard, and I was like, oh, I can try that. I can do that. And then figured out how to play Iron Man, which is real simple. And also AC/DC. I remember learning how to play TNT, which is just real simple, you know, but I was just like, oh, this sounds awesome. So yeah, just early rock and roll stuff that I heard when I was a kid, but mostly Black Sabbath.